So we're holding by Siman Samach Hey in Alagula and coming to answer the kasha the Rebbe posed in the last Siman. Kasha B'Kitzur was that it says in the Medrash on Nachmu not Nachmu Ami that Hashem will first, before He's Menachem Klal Yisrael, He's going to send 10 Nevi'im and the Avos and Moshe Rabbeinu to try to be Menachem them, and each time it's going to say they don't believe them. So the question is, why won't they believe them? So he says, we could answer this al pi ma she'amru Chazal, based on what Chazal say, the geula ha'asida tia al yidei HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chvodo v'yatzmai, that the future geula will take place only through Hashem Himself, not through any leader. Keda'isa b'medrash Yalkut says in a different place, in Yalkut also it says, Ashrecha Yisrael mi kamoicha am noisha b'Hashem. Fortunate are you, Israel, the people who are saved by Hashem. So, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu ba'olam hazeh, in this world, and the other redemptions from other exiles, ha'yisem noishayim al yidei b'nei Adam, you were saved by people. B'mitzrayim al yidei Moshe v'Aaron. In Mitzrayim you were saved by Moshe v'Aaron. So yeah, the human leaders saved them. Moshe v'Aaron in Mitzrayim, b'mei Sisra al yidei Dvoyer Barak, when it was the Sisra, the Melchama of Dvoyer, right, in the time of Shoftim, the point is, and also, by Bavel, they were saved in Paras and Madai, and Bavel, Daniel, and Chanani, Mishael, Azariah, and Paras and Madai, Mordechai, Esther, so on and so on. The Greeks, it says the Chashmonaim saved them. So all the other Geulas that happened, they happened through human beings. So therefore, Al Yidei Shahayu Al Yidei Basar V'Dam, because they were human, Hayisem Chayzer Mishtabdim. They went back to being in exile again. They weren't permanent. But future redemption is going to be Hashem Himself. And then afterwards, you won't ever go back to Galus again. The Jews are saved by Hashem in a everlasting redemption. It says the people who are redeemed by Hashem will return. It doesn't say Moshe v'Aaron will save them. The future Geula, only Hashem will save them. This is also something we bring in the Sefer Achakula and also in the Sefer Efes Biltucha. It says, Nafla v'lo yisoisiv kum besulas Yisrael. It says, she fell and she will no longer arise. The Virgin of Israel. So we darshan nafla v'lo oisiv lahakima like It doesn't say she fell and I will not pick her up anymore, because Hashem will. There is going to be a geula, but rather nafla v'lo oisiv kum, she won't get up on her own again. Masal, it's a parable, Lamalka, to a king, Deragaz al Matronisa. He was angry at his handmaid.
Where is this from?
This is the Zohar Parshas Vayikra. It says he was angry at his handmaid, he was angry at his queen, so he sent her into Galus, and she came back, and he sent her and she came back, and the third time he sent her, she didn't come back. She said, I'm not going to come back until you come and bring me back yourself. So, Kach Kutshabrichu, Kol Zimna de Knesset Yisrael Begalusa, every other time that the Yidden were in exile, Kadhav Yamata Zimna, when the time came that they should go out, He Asiyas, she herself came out, V'hadras Kami Malka, and she came before the king. But in this exile, Basra, this last exile, Lav Hachi, it doesn't go that way. Ela Kutshabrichu Yoichid Bidaha. The Kodesh Baruch Hu Himself will pick her up by the hands, V'yoikim La, and He'll lift her up, V'yispayis Bada, and He'll make peace with her again, V'yasiv La Lehechle. He'll bring her back to His palace. The Tachazi says, come and see, Tahachi Hu, that this is the way it is, Tahaksiv Nafla Loisoisiv Kum. She fell and she will no longer arise on her own. Regarding this, it says, by Yom Ahu, Akim es Sukkos David hanofelis. I'll lift up the sukkah of David that it fell down. He lo yisoisiv kum mi'atma. She won't get up on her own. Aval ana okim la. I will get her up. We see in all these chazals all over the place that the future redemption will only be through a HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not through his agents, human agents. The Jewish people knows this fact, this fundamental fact. Now we don't have a problem with all the other medrash that we brought. The question we had was, all the Nevi'im are going to come and say their nevuos of comfort, and the Jews aren't going to accept it. Why won't they accept the comfort? They'll all come. Yoel, Amos, Hosea, all these Nevi'im are going to come and say, it's time. Let's go. It's time for the Gula. And they're not going to accept it. The answer is the Jews have a Kabbalah going back. The future redemption won't come through human beings. It'll come only through HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We find a similar thing by Yetzias Mitzrayim. The Medrash, Shmois Perakei, Siman Yud Gimel, Mavura Kol Inyan Le'el Barichas. I quoted it before, early in the Sefer. Moshe Rabbeinu came to the Jews and he said, "Pakoid Pakati Eschem," right? I come to revisit you, and then he did the thing with the stick, turned into a snake, and the skin turned into tsaras, right? And because of those, it says Vayamein Ha'am, the people believed. So you might think that they only believed when they saw these miracles happening. So it says Eloi. That's not the pshat. They listened to the fact that Hashem had revisited them. The words pakoi pakati, the key words, that's what they listened to. Not through the miracles. Why did they believe in these words of Pekuda, of Pakoi Pakati? They had a tradition going back to Yaakov. It says through Serach Bas Asher. They had a tradition, Shekol Goyal Sheyavoy. Any redeemer who comes, and he comes and says to my kids, Pakoi Pakati Eschem, I've revisited them. Who Goyal Shel Emes? He is the true redeemer. Since Moshe said those words, Miyad Vayamein Ha'am. That's why they believed him. They didn't even listen to Moshe Rabbeinu that it was the time for the Gula. They didn't even believe it when he made a miraculous thing with a stick. Only because he said the thing that they had a Messiah on, the statement, the key words, the code words, they knew that the Redeemer would say these words. So that's why when the Nevi'im come by the future redemption, they won't listen to any Nevi'im who come. Even if Moshe comes, because the siman in their hands, this time it wasn't Pakod Pakadi. The siman is a different siman. That it's only HaKadosh Baruch Hu who will bring the Gula. It's only when Hashem comes and says directly to them, Nachmu Nachmu Ami. Also in Yeshaya it says, I myself will be the one to comfort you. The Dibura Yisbarach Machrachas, and the words of Hashem are forcing it to happen that way. So therefore it's not surprising that the Jewish people will not believe l'chol eila hanavim. That's what they were supposed to do. They're not supposed to believe them. That's Hashem's will. So the point is, they're not going to believe them. Not that they're not going to believe that the nevuah is true. They're going to say, this is not the time for your nevuah. Maybe it's a false redemption. Maybe it's like Zionism. We have experience with this already. So therefore, they're going to wait until Hashem comes on his own and says, Nachmu Nachmu Ami.